Let's preview today's House vote on the financial reform bill now with banking consultant Bert Ely. He has been following the industry for nearly 40 years, most of them from the vantage point of D.C. politics. Also with us is Bloomberg contributing editor William Cohan, author of the book House of Cards, A Tale of Hubris and Wretched Excess on Wall Street about the financial crisis. So, gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Bert, I want to shoot it out to you initially. As Peter mentioned, it looks like the House vote, it should go through. The Senate, maybe another story. Do you think ultimately that this legislation, this bill, will go through?
There's a good chance that it won't. The fact that the Senate isn't going to take it up for another couple of weeks allows 2 more weeks for the opponents of the bill, and there are many opponents to the bill, to really try and undo it. That bill is based on some very careful deals. If things fall apart, they might have to go back to start all over again, as many, particularly Republicans, believe should be done, even though they're as far along in the legislative process as they are.
By the way, Bert, just to be clear, you don't support this bill, but you think it needs to pass just to help deal with uncertainty in the market.
Well, certainly as long as the legislation is hanging fire, there is uncertainty, but also there are a lot of negatives associated with this bill, and that's why many in the industry feel, and many Republicans also, that Congress should just start all over again rather than putting a bad bill on the books.
Bill, what do you think? Would it be better for Congress to start all over again?
No, I don't think so. I mean, President Obama was taking a victory lap at the G20 meeting over the weekend, you know, how the U.S. is so far out ahead of other countries on financial reform. This is not a perfect bill. Let's not have, you know, perfection be the enemy of the good here. I mean, this bill accomplishes a lot. I, for one, don't think it's good.
You do think it's a good bill?
Well, look, it's better than no bill. There needs to be, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing. I'm saying that there needs to be financial reform. This bill does have a lot of financial reform in it. I do not believe that it'll prevent another crisis from happening, because I don't think it gets to the heart of what the problem is, which is incentives that people on Wall Street have to do their jobs and to create risky securities. But I think it does put in place a number of important things, whether it's for consumers, whether it's with derivatives and putting them on exchanges, whether it's around this whole too big to fail thing, which I think is, frankly, too much hoo-ha. But I think that it does take a number of positive steps, and it's certainly better than starting over. I mean, the idea of ripping this up and starting over is not what we want. The markets crave certainty, and Wall Street craves certainty, and, you know, we have to begin to get beyond this crisis and move forward.
You know, Bert, Bill makes some really good points. You know, do you have any response to all of that? Because you think we should redo it.
2 responses. Number one, if the bill goes down this year and they're not able to get it done, the Republicans would consider that to be a victory and certainly an embarrassment for the president. But there are many in the industry who feel that while there are some good provisions in the bill, there are a lot of shortcomings, and they do believe that the bill needs a lot of rework. Not necessarily starting all over, but at least going back into a conference committee after the July 4th recess and addressing a lot of the problems that they see in the bill. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if that does start up and it doesn't get done by the time they go into the August recess, then we're into September, in the height of the election season, and that increases the odds that Congress would not enact legislation this year.
I mean, but Bert, the only thing I would say is that you sort of put it in a political context. I just think it's a real shame at this point in the cycle, in the need to reform Wall Street, that we, you know, think about it in political terms and how the Republicans would look at it as a victory going into the November elections. We need to pull together as a country and make sure that what happened over the last 2 years, and frankly what's been going on for a generation on Wall Street, can somehow get, you know, stopped and we can move forward.
It's a shame, but don't you have to look at it that way? I mean, I was watching Bill Thomas earlier question Joe Castano of AIG and making a dramatic theatrical point, asking him what the A in AIG stands for, right? And this is a commission that's supposed to be serious about getting to the heart of what happened, and he's putting on a show for political points.
Well, it so often happens, Matt, as you know, whether it's the Levin Committee or sometimes at the FCIC, there is a bit of theater in all of this. It's a shame. I wish we could get beyond this because these are serious issues, and we need to get reform regulation in place, and so that we can move beyond it and go to the heart of what the problem here is, creating jobs for Americans and getting lending back in proper order and getting the economy back on track.
That's a very good point. Bottom line, Bert, there was an interesting op-ed in the Wall Street Journal a couple days ago by a woman who ran a mortgage lender in Newark, Ohio, and she was saying this will make it more difficult for her to lend money. Do you think it's going to hurt the economy?
Well, it's certainly not a positive for the economy. One of the great concerns that bankers have is that there's going to be excessive regulation, particularly through this new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is going to be able to really operate quite independently. So, again, I appreciate what the concerns are about the politics, but there are a lot of very sincere-minded bankers and others who have real concerns about the potential negative impact of this legislation.
All right, gentlemen, we have to run. Bert Ely down there in D.C. and Bill Cohan right here in studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right.